Hey guys, well today I went to see the newly released Disney film Beauty and the Beast. So within the last number of years, Disney have been doing live action versions of its classic cartoons such as 101 Dalmatians, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, and we've also got a live action Lion King coming up, so that'll be exciting. So the question is, did they deliver well on Beauty and the Beast? Answer, yes they did. Like, I just thought, I was like, for someone who grew up in the 90s with this cartoon, I just thought it was amazing. I just loved every minute of it. No, I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was brilliant. So well done. So, the story. So, the story of the film, it follows very closely on the original 1991 animated film story, but it adds a few creative tweaks into just to update it a wee bit. One of the things is, once the last petal of the rose has fallen, the prince will remain a beast for the rest of his life, and the staff, Mrs. Potts and Lumina, they will just turn into objects and they won't be able to move or talk. They'll just, like, Mrs. Potts will just turn to a teapot and sit in a tray forever. So I liked that little tweak. I thought that was very creative, and it really adds on to the whole pressure and whole importance of Belle falling in love with the Beast and the Beast finding love, because it's not just his life at stake, it's all the staff's life at stake as well. So there's I really like that little tweak. And there was also a little subplot added in about Belle's mother. And it really, I think, strengthened the relationship between Belle and her father. And really showed how close they were. Like, we know that she passed away, but we just don't know how or what. And so Maurice just doesn't say anything about it. So through the Beast, Belle finds out how her mother died. And then when she talks about it to him, and it really strengthens their relationship. So I like that little tweak, because actually in the animated film we never knew what happened to Belle's mother. We just assumed she died, because like in most, like, what was that running? There's that running joke in a few animated Disney films that the parents always die. Yeah, so, but I really like that little, added that little master. I think that was a very good idea. I think that worked very well. Right, so the cast. There are 5 performances I absolutely loved. First of all, the first one, and without a doubt, was Emma Watson. She was Belle. She owned that role. She was brilliant. Like, I mean, from the start, she really played the role so well. She's her own person. She doesn't care what people think about her. She won't be torn down. Like, I mean, when she's created the little washing machine and she's teaching the little girl to read, and the sexist schoolmaster says to her, as if one girl in the village reading in the village isn't enough. Must you encourage it again? And they destroy her washing machine design, but instead of being upset, running off in tears, she gets on with it. It won't knock her back. She was just very much her own person. And when she first met the Beast, she took no nonsense with him. She really took no nonsense. She basically was like, you just separated me from my father and locked me up for the rest of my life. Excuse me, what makes you think I'm going to have dinner with you? So I loved the attitude. I loved how she took no crap with him. I really loved that. So I just thought that was done really well. Yeah, so next was, I love Dan Stevens as the Beast. He plays the cursed prince to perfection. He really plays the tortured, feisty, bad-tempered Beast to perfection. Like, we really start to love his character. So, at first you dislike him because he's so grumpy all the time, in such a bad mood. He's like a bear with a sore head, just constantly, always in a bad mood. But as he starts to get to know Belle and gets closer to her, we see the more nicer side to him, the more beautiful side, which maybe if he'd shown a little more of, he wouldn't have been turned into a beast in the first place. But yeah, no, I just think Dan Stevens really played the role, and especially during one of his musical moments, he really did very well. So I think he played the role perfectly. And is Ian McKellen. I loved Ian McKellen's films. Like, I loved him in Lord of the Rings and all, but I loved him in this. I loved how he played the temperamental, impatient little clock. I just think I loved it. He was so funny. Like, he's always like, I mean, when they're getting the maestro ready for dinner, and he says to Maestro, now whatever you do, Maestro, you must keep it very quiet. We can't have the master finding out. And it was just like, he's trying, like, he's stressed. He's like, he's trying to keep the house together and trying not to piss off the master. But so I just thought I loved him as the clock. I think he was the perfect choice. I loved him as Cogsworth. I thought he was brilliant. And the constant clashes between him and Lumiere were just so funny. So I think he really nailed it in that role. He nailed it. Hey, Luke Evans. Well, what can you say? If ever you're looking for the perfect Gaston, Luke Evans did. He played the manipulative, vain, arrogant Gaston to a T. From the minute you see him, you know this guy's so up himself and so determined to get what he wants. He doesn't care who gets hurt. And it really brought even Like in the animated film, his plan was to have Maurice sectioned, or I suppose technically in that time he was incarcerated, so that Belle would come running back. But he takes they upped it a notch in this film. He leaves Maurice to die in the woods, because if Maurice is dead, then Belle will have no one to take care of her. So they really added a very dark side to his character. I love that. It makes you hate him all the more. Because he was the sole antagonist of the film. So I really loved how bad they made him. He was just so nasty and so arrogant and so vain. But there was one part I thought it was really funny. He says, "You are the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen." And he's talking to his reflection. And says, "I'm not done with you yet." I just thought that was hilarious. Really up to the whole vain element to it. But no, he was a perfect villain throughout the film. You really booed him. But you still loved him all the same. Because even though you're supposed to hate a movie villain, you still love him as well, because he's one of the driving forces throughout the story. So yeah, Luke Evans was perfect as Gaston, absolutely perfect. Okay, and the fifth one is Josh Gad as LeFou. I loved LeFou. You really come to in the animated film, LeFou is a bumbling, clumsy, ugly-ish sort of little man but the film really gave him more who's just Gaston's bumbling sidekick, but they really gave him a more human element in this film, especially through the homosexual subtext. Now, I'm not sure where that moment came in. I'm not sure. Where was that gay moment supposed to be? I'm actually not sure. I think it was in the tavern scene. So yeah, I think it was there. But I didn't see it as... At times, I didn't just see him as Gaston and his sidekick. I actually saw them, sometimes think they were like friends. LeFou was more of a friend to Gaston instead of just his sidekick. So there was a wee friendship element there. But they gave LeFou a more human side in this, and I really liked that. So yeah, I loved Josh Gad as LeFou. I think he did really well in the role. The most important, the biggest elements of this movie, what everyone was looking forward to, was the music. So the music, three songs I really enjoyed were, the first one was Belle, the big village opening number. I loved that. They really brought that to life in the animated film, where Belle's just going through the village, reading her books, not caring what people say, and everyone's looking at her like, "That girl is reading, that's very strange. She should be looking for a husband." But no, I just loved how well they did it. It was done so well. It was... What was that word? Choreographed so well. You've got people going about their business and just commenting on her at the same time. But I loved that, how well done was that. I was singing along. I really enjoyed the number. It was so well done and so fast paced and just so well. I love that opening number. And I love what about it is everyone thinks Belle is odd because she's more free spirited, more adventurous than the rest of the village. The girls in the village are more pretty. We would need to find a husband quickly, or we'll be old maids forever and laughed at. So no, I love that song. I love that village, and I think they did that really well. So I think they really nailed it with the up themselves, nosy, curious town folk, and Belle as the beautiful girl who doesn't care what people say. So I really loved that. I think that was done very well. Okay, the next one was Belle Reprise, which is a reprise of now originally in the animated film, it's after Gaston's proposal and after Maurice has been in prison, but in the movie they sort of switched it around. It's after her dad's left, after her washing machine is destroyed, and Gaston says, "Oh, you will marry me," and Belle says, "No, I will not." So I love that. So it's afterwards she's like, "Oh, he asked me to marry him. Oh, it's disgusting." I love the energy she put into that, and I love the shot where she comes up, where she says, "I want much more of this provincial life," and she runs into the field, and you see her stand in the field and all the mountains and all. I love that. That was so well done. I thought that was brilliant. And then Be Our Guest. Oh my god, that was brilliant. I loved that. That was just so well done. That was just amazing. It was so colourful, so bright, so it was very a very cabaret kind of thing, but it was just done so well, and it was just as good as the animated version. But no, Be Our Guest I think was absolutely amazing. I think it was brilliant. And then, of course, the title song, Beauty and the Beast. I didn't know if Emma Thompson could sing, but no, she really did the song justice. And you've got Belle and the Beast dancing in the back. It really was just so beautifully paced, and the cinematography and all, and just them dancing and her singing. I just thought it was beautiful mix, beautiful. I just thought it was so well done. They nailed it. They nailed that moment perfectly. I loved it. They nailed it right. So I think that was just so well done. They also added in 2 new songs to the movie. One of them was In the Sun, which is the staff and the Beast thinking about when they were all human. And then it sort of delves into the Beast thinking about the mother he loved so much, and everyone else is thinking about what was it like for Mrs. Potts, she was thinking when she and Chip were human and they could hug and all. So I really liked that song. I think that song was just very good. Then the other one was Evermore, which after Bellis left the village to rescue her father, the Beast sings about how he believes she can never love him, and it really brings an emotional side to the character, very vulnerable side, and I just thought that was done so well. So I really loved that song. It was beautiful, and I think it was just done so well. So other stuff I want to talk about is mention. The design of the film, the production design was amazing. It was just so, they did their research. Like, I mean, it was all, I'm not sure what the period is, probably Georgian France, I think it was. But anyway, it was just, the architecture and design was just done so well. Like, I mean, the design of everything from the village to the castle to everything was just brilliant. They really nailed it. They did their homework. They did such good research on the original. Excuse me. But it was done so well. I think they just nailed it, everything. It was just so beautiful, so well done. They definitely did, like, the cinematography, of course, that was gorgeous too. That was just done so well. And the French theme, I loved how the French theme was in it, because it was so reminded me of those old quaint towns you'd see in Normandy, in Norman France. So yeah, I loved that whole thing. I just thought that was so beautiful. Well, anyway guys, thanks for checking out my review, and stay tuned for my next set of upcoming vlogs. Bye!